Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here. The lab coat's on back order, and I'm bringing you another Pokemon X live Wi-Fi match today. So continuing with the tradition we've been doing, featuring my starter Pokemon from the different generations. Last week was an unfortunate situation where my little Piplup Slippin from the Sinnoh region just didn't have the power really to make it into the winner's circle. I'm not giving up on him yet. I am going to give him another try, but we're actually going to hold him in the back for the time being. We're going to step up to Gen 5 and go to the Unova region. Now, my starter in that is, I started with Oshawott, because my tradition is to start with the water starter in each generation, and give them a nickname that starts with the letter S. That's what I do with Shelbert the Squirtle, and it just kind of stuck, so I continued doing that. Now, what I decided for my Oshawott, though, I actually did allow him to evolve into Dewott. And at that point, I was thinking, should I let him become Samurott? Because, frankly, I find Samurott's design a little weird. Because, like, I question the fact that we have a bipedal Pokemon in Oshawott, which evolves into a bipedal Pokemon, which is Dewott, but then it becomes a four-legged, like, quadrupedal Samurott. It almost seems like a de-evolution in a way, so I thought, since I found Samurott so questionable, and I also had considered the fact that Shelbert I didn't evolve, Snapper the Totodile didn't evolve, Skippy did evolve all the way into Swampert, and then I kept Slippin as a Piplup. I thought, I've never actually kept one of my starters in their second form, so I thought, I'm going to do that with my Oshawott when he became Dewott. So he is in second form, which means that he is still able to make use of the Eviolite, but let's see if he has the defenses to back that up. So let's take a look at Seaward the Dewott. I almost said Oshawott again. I'm going to take a look at Seaward the Dewott and take a look at the team that I've assembled to try to help him get into the winner's circle. Let's check that out. So we're going to take a look at the team coming to the Wi-Fi battle for this week. Starting off, we have Seaward the Dewott. He's got the Torrent ability, as all basic Dewott do. And he's got Scald, which is going to make use of the Torrent in a pinch if he's low on HP. And I gave him Ice Beam and Dig to cover his weaknesses. And I will admit, his moveset isn't fully complete just yet. I wasn't sure what else to really give him, but I decided Swagger isn't that bad of a move because, keeping the opponent from fighting back isn't the worst idea ever. Now, he is borrowing Shelbert's Eviolite for the time being. I wasn't sure what other item that I should give him, and I figured since he is already, an evolved Pokemon with a potential evolution, the Eviolite's ability to improve the defenses might not be a bad idea. You can see here the EV spread. He's got the Rash Nature, which does boost his special attack stat, so I maxed out his super training in special attack. I wanted to even the defenses up to sort of make better use of the Eviolite, and I thought I want to give him a little more investment into his speed stat as well. So you see he's almost at 190 for speed. Now Chirp, I think I brought him to last week's video. I admit I kind of lost track of who I've already brought into some of these battles, but we're going to go with Chirp the Pidgeot, my original flyer from Kanto. He's got the leftovers, which we'll make use of if we can get the double teams up. Also, if we can use the fly attack, so while he is, protected in the air, we'll get a little leftovers recovery. If we're able to dodge some hits with double team, we can get some recovery there as well. I also gave him Sunny Day to reduce the risk of potential thunders coming at him, because during the Sunny Day effect, thunder becomes 50% accurate. With double teams as well, it's going to make it even less likely to hit. And for a nice stab attack, I gave him Return, so he's going to gain the boost from the normal type move. He does have max happiness with me, which is nice, and the ability Keen Eye will, of course, prevent him from having his accuracy lowered. He has a Careful Nature, which boosts special defense, and for his EV spread, I decided to go defensive and speed, so I want him to be able to go first and get his double teams off, so that he can evade attacks on the next turn. And I hit the wrong button, or the wrong arrow, I should say. Next up, we're going to bring Snoozer the Snorlax from back in the Kanto region, holding the Chesto Berry to make use of the rest for a full recovery and an instant wake-up, and I decided to just go all out with physical attacks. Body Slam is, much like Return for Chirp, is a nice stab bonus, so he's going to get some good damage off with that. And I gave him Earthquake to deal with rock types that would be resistant to Body Slam, and I gave him Crunch to deal with ghost types that are immune to it. Also, wait, no, Earthquake is good for steel types as well. So, Body Slam, everything except for those three types, and I gave him attacks to make use of, or to be able to do super effective damage to those three types. Now his ability, Thick Fat, the reason I'm bringing him is because when I looked at my overall team for this week, there is a considerable ice weakness, and I was looking at, which of my Pokemon in my collection resist ice, and not a lot of them do, at least not Pokemon that I haven't already brought into the battles. But then I realized, wait, no, Snoozer does resist it thanks to the Thick Fat ability. So he's coming in. You'll see here he has max IVs for speed, but that ain't really that big a deal because Snorlax are never known to be very fast to begin with. So I completely ignored that as far as super training goes. I wanted to just completely rock his attack out as high as I could get it. Got it up to 317. And I wanted to even the defenses up as well as I could. You'll see he has no investment in special defense. I had to put everything into the physical defense, and it still doesn't match his natural special defense. The remaining super training I decided to put into the HP, just to sort of, in a way, help boost his defenses as well. Because with more HP, he's going to be able to survive more damage from a physical hit. And here we have Tails the Ninetales. I think I brought her recently as well. Let's go over her quickly here for her information. Holding the Lumberry to cure one status affliction the moment it hits her. And she's got the Sunny Day attack to boost her fire moves and also make Solar Beam an instant charge attack. And Confuse Ray is good, much like Swagger on Dewott, or Seaward the Dewott. Confusing the opponent and preventing them from fighting back is never a bad idea. And her nature is Quiet, which boosts her special attack. She actually has max IVs for HP as well. Now, I didn't put too much super training into that. I wanted to power up her special attack and her speed to make her try and get some attacks off quicker than the opponent. And with the Flash Fire ability, if she does get hit by a fire move, which is not terribly likely because the opponent probably wouldn't want to go for something like that against a fire type. However, if it happens, it's going to boost her fire type move Heat Wave a little bit more. And the remaining super training I decided to put into the HP just to make use of that naturally high IV. And here we have a heavy hitter on the team, Irwin the Crocodile. He's from the Unova region as well. He's holding the Scope Lens to possibly get some critical hits off. Not quite doubling the damage. It used to be double damage in previous generations. Now in the 6th generation, critical hits do 1.5 times the damage. However, Scope Lens is still a good item to boost some offensive power. And this guy has some offensive power, let me tell you. Earthquake and Crunch are both stab attacks, being the ground and dark type. He's also got Rock Slide to deal with. Initially, ice types is the reason I gave him Rock Slide, but it's just a basically good move in general as well. And Scary Face comes in very handy. I don't see a lot of people use Scary Face, not that I can remember anyway, but if you can slow the opponent down by 2 stages using Scary Face, suddenly I might be getting some flinches with the Rock Slide. So that's the reason he's got that. And he also has the Moxie ability. Every time he scores a knockout in battle, his attack stat will raise. Now, initially when I was hunting Sandile back in the, I forget what the name of the desert is, but back in Unova, I kept encountering Sandile with Intimidate, and I thought, let me see what the other Sandiles have, because I didn't actually research it. I decided to catch a Sandile without Intimidate, and when I found out he had Moxie, I thought, this is awesome, alright? Getting some boosted attack stat by knocking out opponents, who doesn't want that? So we're looking at the super training spread. He does have the Brave Nature, which improves the attack stat. And that's what I decided to pump all the super training into, at least the most that I could get it. He's got 363 for attack. I wanted to even the defenses once again, like I do with most of my Pokemon. So he's got almost 190 for both. I could have put some training into his speed stat, but I thought with the Scary Face, I might not even need to. If we can get off a Scary Face, slow the opponent down 2 stages, he might be outspeeding him anyway. We'll see how well that goes. And the final Pokemon bringing to the team, Axel. Now I know I've used him before. I don't think I used him in a live battle. I know he was in the one where I battled the shiny Azumarill and what's that one? Sableye. But this is going to be, I believe, Axel's first introduction to the live Wi-Fi battles. He's got the Black Sludge for poison type recovery each turn, and he's using the Shadow Ball attack. With Toxic and Venom Drench are going to work hand in hand. Toxic, of course, getting some poison damage off each turn with increasing damage. Venom Drench will lower the attack, special attack, and speed of a poisoned opponent. And I also have Aromatherapy because as I've been seeing more competitive battlers online, I realize there are some pretty good standards that people go for their teams. Aromatherapy is one of those good options to be able to heal all status conditions from your entire team. So he's got that for support for the rest of the squad. Here, we're going to take a look at the the natural IVs and the EV spread for this particular Pokemon. Look at this guy. Max IV for attack, max IV for special defense, max IV for speed. Two of those I didn't play into because most of the time you're not going to see Roserade using physical moves. And speed, even though I have no investment in speed, he's already like over 216. That is actually a little bit faster than my Crocodile too, so that's really impressive for just a non-speed invested Roserade. He does have the Calm Nature, which improves special defense, and what I went ahead and did was, since he has max IV for special defense and the nature that boosts it, I decided to go all out with his specials. I've maxed out special attack, special defense. You'll see they're considerably above 300, and in the interest of trying to get more defensive on both sides, I finished off super training with defense. I might switch this actually and go for speed in the future. A little bit more speed wouldn't hurt. And he does have poison point ability. I could use the ability capsule to give him natural cure instead. However, aromatherapy will take care of that. What I want to do is be able to get as much poison on the opponent as possible to make full use of the Venom Drench attack. So there, you've seen the team and their maximum, max IVs and super training EV spread. All that being said, we're going to get into a battle and see how well these guys can do this week. And the challenger has been found, Spark from Texas in the United States. So Spark is bringing an Arcanine, Liepard, Sylveon, Kangaskhan, Ferrothorn, and Jellicent. So Ferrothorn is a definite possibility for a lead with the hazards it can put up. Kangaskhan, of course, will be the mega for this team. I wonder if they're going to start with the Kangaskhan. Fake Out is always a possibility. And who else do we have to worry about? I haven't faced a lot of these particular Pokemon, so this is going to be a learning experience, trying to see how to deal with these guys. So we want to try to get rid of the Ferrothorn, and Kangaskhan. If I start with Tails, Kangaskhan's probably going to go for a Fake Out immediately against her, so I'm going to bring Tails. And how to deal with those possible hazards. My plan is I'm going to swap Tails out immediately if the Kangaskhan is there so that someone else can take the Fake Out. And then we got to deal with the Kangaskhan itself. So I'm going to actually start with Snoozer as well. Tails is going to handle the Ferrothorn. Snoozer can possibly get some body slams off. I'm also going to bring Irwin, because he's just potential power right there. And let's give Seaward a try in this match as well. So actually no, I'm going to withdraw Snoozer for a second. I want Tails and Irwin to start the battle, with Seaward and Snoozer in reserve. I think this is about the best play we can have. Let's give this a shot. Let's make some sparks fly. Alright, so the battle is getting underway. Oh, focus. Come on, camera. You can do this. Don't give up now. I can't even see if it's focused yet. It's on black screen. Alright. We are good. Okay. Spark is issuing a challenge. Arcanine and Ferrothorn. So I did predict the Ferrothorn. Arcanine I was not expecting. I was also not expecting it to be shiny. That's going to make a difference. It's actually not. Now, if it has Flash Fire, that could be a potential problem. So Intimidate is not the best thing either. You know what? I'm just going to go for it. Let's go Heat Wave. No, hang on. They're going to probably swap that Ferrothorn out. I'm not going to jump the gun here. What can this Arcanine do to us? I don't think Ferrothorn's going to stay in. I think best option right now, I'm going to use Confuse Ray on the Arcanine. I'm also going to use Scary Face on that as well. However, we do see the Ferrothorn stay in. Interesting, okay. Wild Charge is going to do some recoil damage to the Arcanine. We're going to confuse it for the next turn. We're also going to slow it down, so we might outspeed it on the following turn. Fortunately, it did connect. Scary Face doesn't have full accuracy, so there is the possibility that it might not connect in some fights. So there we do see Stealth Rock. This means I'm probably not going to want to swap Tails out at this point any longer, because when she comes in, she's going to take some pretty heavy damage from the Stealth Rock. Will the Ferrothorn stay in this time? Assuming it does or doesn't, actually, I'm going to hedge my bets. I'm going to use Confuse Ray against the Ferrothorn. And we did see that Irwin outspeeds the Ferrothorn. He's going to outspeed the Arcanine, hopefully. Let's use a Rock Slide. Might get a flinch off. Alright, so Arcanine is going to withdraw. Whatever comes in is going to take a Rock Slide and Jellicent, so not the best damage, unfortunately. We could crunch that. In fact, now we're free to go for a Heat Wave as well, because the Arcanine has left the field. So Rock Slide will connect against both of my opponent's Pokemon. Hardly anything done to either side, but we did get the flinch on that Rock Slide. Okay, that's potential. That's good stuff. Leftovers on Jellicent. I gotta bring some Pokemon with knockoffs to get rid of these kind of items. So let's use a Sunny Day. I could go for, well, I just realized there is the potential threat of Power Whip. I believe Ferrothorn can learn, so I'm just going to go all out and go for a Heat Wave and try to bring that Ferrothorn down. I'm also going to crunch that Jellicent. I don't know how fast Jellicents are. We might not actually outspeed. Okay, so Ferrothorn will withdraw. Did we just play into my opponent's hand? That is possible. Shiny Arcanine retakes the field. Actually, no, it's got Intimidate. What am I thinking? It's not carrying the Flash Fire. I'm not sure if it gets Flash Fire anyway. So Heat Wave will do probably minimal damage to both. Yeah, nothing to write home about. And the Curse Body disables the Heat Wave. It's alright, it wasn't that useful in this fight anyhow. Now with the Intimidate drop, we're not going to do much with the Crunch. And Curse Body, that's not fair. You can't Curse Body both of my attacks. Now we did dodge Toxic, so that's good. So I imagine Wild Charge is going to come in again. I'm going to throw a Sunny Day, or should I confuse that Arcanine? Probably I'm thinking the best bet, try to keep that Arcanine confused. I'm going to withdraw Irwin in favor of... That's the question. Seaward or Snoozer? Seaward, Snoozer, Seaward, Snoozer. I'm going to go Seaward. If that Jellicent sends a water attack at Crocodile, then it's better to have our Dewott take the hit. Of course, it could go for an Ice move as well, and Snoozer does have the thick fat. It's going to withdraw, or it's going to resist the Ice Beam, but we do see Arcanine withdraw. Ferrothorn is taking the field. We're going to get the confusion off on that, so that's good. And come on back, Irwin. Seaward pops in. Now the rocks are going to do some damage to us. And Protect, that's perfectly fine. We weren't going for you at all. Now might be a good time to go for the Sunny Day. Question is, what do we do with Seaward? I'm going to definitely go for the Swagger. So since Ferrothorn is already confused, obviously the Swagger is going to connect against the Jellicent. See if we can keep the opponents from fighting back. It's never a sure thing, of course. But any little advantage we can get to help our side out is going to be beneficial. So the Sunlight has turned harsh on the battlefield. Swagger does connect against Jellicent. Now both opposing Pokemon are confused. And I don't believe Jellicent are physical attackers, so increasing its attack set isn't going to make a difference. I don't think. I could eat my words here, but nope. Alright. So Ferrothorn is confused. It also hurts itself. Now, if we go for a Heat Wave now, we're definitely going to do some good damage to that Ferrothorn. Potentially a one-hit knockout. I think I'm going to use the Heat Wave. It's disabled. I forgot the Curse Body. Okay. So in that case, we're going to Solar Beam the Jellicent and use a... I'm going to go Scald against the Ferrothorn spot. Now, it's of course weakened thanks to the Sunlight. However, I'm predicting they might send in the Arcanine, expecting maybe another Fire-type move on Tails. So if Arcanine does come in place of it, we're at least going to get some super effective damage with the Scald. Won't be able to get the burn, because of course Fire-type Pokemon cannot be burned. Now they both stay in, Solar Beam is firing up. I don't believe more than one attack can be disabled at one time, so Curse Body shouldn't be a problem. It's almost down. Now Scald is going to connect, going to do hardly anything at all, unfortunately. Will the Confusion take it down? No, Toxic. Should have brought Axel. We could have aromatherapied that away. Although I forgot Tails is holding the Lumberry. That's awesome. Okay. Now, if we could just break this disable, we can use a Heat Wave and knock out both opponents. So there's the leftovers. I gotta pay more attention to speed. Oh, yes. Okay. Heat Wave is back. So that is definitely the move to go for now. No question about it. I don't think they're going to preserve this Jellicent. It's already taken too much damage. I'm going to predict a possible switch and go for a Scald on the Ferrothorn spot once again. Come on, guys. You can do this. Heat Wave. Connects against both opponents. A double knockout. Go Tails. A critical. Okay, critical Heat Wave on a fire. I'm getting all confused. Critical Heat Wave on a Grass and Steel type Pokemon. You ain't living that one. So my opponent is down to 2 Pokemon left. And quickly in the middle of the battle, I gotta grab my plug because the DS is almost out of power. I can't find the plug. Okay, shiny Kangaskhan hits the field. The plug has been located. Forgive the possible shaking of the 3DS as I plug it in. And we are plugged. Make sure the camera is nice and straight. Okay. So we're in a good spot. We're up 4-2, and definitely want to deal with. Well, we know we're going to see a Mega. The question is, how do we deal with that? I'm going to try. Well, as long as this Arcanine, it might have Solar Beam. If it does, Crocodile's not going to really appreciate that. But we're going to try to double up on the confusion against Kangaskhan, because I assume one of my Pokemon is either going to be faked out. It's going to be attacked by the Kangaskhan and flinch. So one of us wants to get a confusion off on Kangaskhan. Now, if we both manage to get it off, then basically the Swagger is going to take effect. It's going to sharply boost the Kangaskhan's attack while leaving it confused. So there we do see the shiny Mega. Here comes the Fake Out against poor little Dewott. Hang in there, Eviolite. Okay, sweet. So, fortunately, we don't actually increase the attack stat of the Kangaskhan, and Tails hangs in there with 4 HP. Confuse Ray will connect against the Kangaskhan. At this point, I cannot bring Tails out because when she comes back in, the Stealth Rock will take her down. So we did confuse the Kangaskhan, which puts us in a decent spot at the moment. If we can get a burn with the Heat Wave, that would be amazing. So we're going to try Heat Wave, and I'm going to Scald Arcanine. I was thinking possibly Dig, but since the Intimidate would have, activated and lowered Dewott's attack, we're going to go Special, despite the fact that it is weakened in the sunlight. There is the possibility that Seaward will take a hit that puts him down to the low HP, which will boost his water attacks with Torrent. He's not living this, I don't think, though. Nope. Well, you did your best there, Seaward. You survived the Fake Out, and you let Tails get the confusion off that we so desperately needed. Now, does it really make a difference? It does not make a difference at all. Sorry, Tails. You did great, too. So now the battle is evened up, 2-2. Ninetales has fainted, and the sunlight is gone now. So if this Kangaskhan, if this Arcanine does have Solar Beam, at least it's going to take a turn to charge, unless it's holding the Power Herb. So I think the best bet here, we're going to try slowing the opponents down. We could just go for an Earthquake from either Pokemon. If I use... Actually, I'm going to go Earthquake and try to take this Arcanine first. Now, the Pointed Stones do hit us. Minimal damage. It's Stealth Rock does damage based on resistance and weakness to rock. So Irwin easily shrugs that off. We're going to body slam Kangaskhan with Snoozer here. And we're going to go for an Earthquake from Irwin. This battle is winding down to the end just about, it looks like. Close combat is going to do some massive damage. Snoozer takes it. He hangs in there. And the defense has just dropped. It's not living this Earthquake. Of course, we might not be living this Shadow Claw. Wait, we're Dark type. We resist that. That wasn't bad at all. Now, this is looking pretty good. We're going to probably knock out Snoozer, unfortunately, with Earthquake. Come on, tank it. No, but there goes Arcanine. So it's tied up 1-1. This is coming down to the wire. And Moxie has activated, so now we got a +1 attack. It's too bad it doesn't boost when you knock out the your own Pokemon too. So now we have a +1 attack. Do we go for... We could use Scary Face to slow them down. I'm not sure if that'll make a difference though. I'm just going to go with Earthquake. We saw how much damage this Earthquake did. Now that there isn't a second target to aim that at, it's going to do some... Well, it does reduce damage if there are multiple targets. Now that there's only one target, Earthquake is back to its full power. Plus the Moxie boost could be what's going to get us to the winner circle. So it goes for an Earthquake. Can we survive that? Not the second hit. Oh, that was such a close match though. Not bad. I'm actually quite happy with the way that one turned out. We were right down there to the wire. Congratulations, Spark. You earned your victory here today. And the screen goes black. There we go. I thought there was a possible disconnect happening. And so, in a very, very close match, we unfortunately do not manage to pull out a win, but we came so close, and if we had just survived a little bit more, like with, a little more HP on that final Earthquake, I'm fairly certain Irwin could have taken that. Now, I realize with these battles, I need to pay more careful attention to everything that's going on, because for the first little bit, I was so concerned about Arcanine having Flash Fire that I completely glossed over the fact that it was intimidating me as I was worried about Flash Fire. So, let's see if we can get into another battle, try and get us a victory for the week, and I'm going to try to pay closer attention to the overall battlefield and things as they happen. Let's give it a shot. And it looks like we have an opponent from the United States, Chris Mikos, bringing a Charizard, Garchomp, a Dragonite, Gyarados, Rotom Wash, and Kangaskhan. Alright, so potential Megas are, of course, the Charizard. Well, there's 4 potential Megas here. Charizard, Garchomp, Gyarados, and Kangaskhan. And isn't it interesting Dragonite doesn't have a Mega? Because think, the Mega Stone would be the Dragonite-ite. Maybe that's why they didn't do it. Alright, so, okay, focus. Now, a good potential lead for my opponent is that Kangaskhan. Gyarados would be good too for the Intimidate. Question is that what they're going to go with? Now, if that Gyarados comes in, we don't have any electricity to zap it out of the skies with. But we do have some options. I think we will start using... this is a good question. Okay, I'm expecting Kangaskhan and Gyarados to start with. So my best options to deal with that are going to be... I think I'm going to start with Snoozer the Snorlax. And... I want to use Irwin the Crocodile for Rock Slide, but we're not going to really do anything to that Gyarados initially. Charizard is a good potential lead as well for my opponent. But if we do see that Gyarados in the lead, I'd rather have somebody else like... let's bring Chirp, the Pidgeot, with the Sunny Day. Tails also has Sunny Day. I'm going to bring her. In fact, no, we're going to let Tails sit out. I'm actually going to bring... in the back, my Crocodile and Dewott. So Irwin and Seaward from Unova are going to be tag teaming, but they're going to hang back for the moment. Right, let us see what my opponent has decided to start the battle off with. And if I predicted correctly, part of a good battle is right on that team selection screen, deciding what is your opponent going to do, how do you counter it, what might they do to counter your counter. So Chirp and Snoozer lead off. We see Gyarados and Rotom actually. So we do have Intimidate from the Gyarados. Now, electricity is a real issue to deal with Chirp on the field. I'm going to use a Body Slam. Yes, I'm going to Body Slam the Gyarados. Unfortunately, Earthquake is completely pointless in this particular situation because we got 2 flying types and a Levitate Pokemon. So I'm going to Body Slam the Gyarados. Chirp, we're going to have you set up a Sunny Day immediately. I think that's probably the best option. It's going to potentially eliminate any, well, not eliminate, but lessen the possibility of Thunder striking us, while also weakening water moves from both opponents. So now Gyarados has Mega Evolved and got the Mold Breaker ability, which means it ignores all effective abilities when calculating damage, I believe the effect of Mold Breaker is. So we see Chirp is the fastest. Now Thunderbolt is still going to connect, but we do survive it. Earthquake will fire off as well, so Snoozer's the only one that's going to take that hit. And take it well, he does. So the Body Slam is fired off against the Mega Gyarados. Yes, we got Paralysis. Okay, that is a huge benefit in our favor. So I could fly right now and try to finish this Rotom off with another Body Slam, which might be the best option. Are they going to do any switching though? With the Sunny Day up, they might actually bring in their Charizard. And if they do, who would they swap it into? I'm just going to go ahead and Body Slam the Rotom. Although, we do outspeed the Gyarados now. And Earthquake will hit it, but I'm not going to risk Earthquake. They might actually send in their Charizard Flying type. Alright, I'm going to Body Slam Rotom. And if we see another Thunderbolt, I'd rather not take that, so I'm going to swap Chirp out for Irwin. Good old Ground type's not going to take a single electric attack. And if they do predict this and go for a Water move, at least the Sunny Day is going to weaken that Water move. So Thunderbolt, we do see, does not affect Irwin. Body Slam against the Rotom. Is it going to do enough? Yes, there goes the Rotom. Okay. So there's one opponent down. And the Gyarados is paralyzed. Excellent Body Slam, Snoozer. My opponent is selecting their next Pokemon to send into the field. So, fortunately this Gyarados is somewhat weakened thanks to the Sunny Day and the Paralysis, of course. So Garchomp, how do we deal with you? Well, let's just go ahead and go for another Body Slam on the Gyarados using Snoozer. We need to slow that Garchomp down, so Irwin is going to Scary Face it. I don't know what we're going to see from this Garchomp, although apparently it's an Earthquake. We should be able to take that. Yep, not too bad at all. Let's slow that guy down a bit. Now, if we are lucky, we should outspeed it, maybe? I say that with a very obvious question mark on the end. Gyarados paralyzed again. Okay, awesome. So now we would actually be free to Earthquake. I'm gonna Earthquake with Snoozer, but I'm gonna swap Chirp back in. Now, I really don't think we're going to outspeed Garchomp using our Snorlax, but on the next turn, Chirp, as long as he doesn't take a hit, he should be able to outspeed the Garchomp. And we do avoid the Earthquake. So this should take out its own Gyarados, which it does. And now, we're going to Earthquake as well. We're going to play your game against you. So we get our Leftovers Recovery. If we do outspeed, I'm going to go for a Fly attack. I'm not going to go for the Garchomp because it might have the Rough Skin ability, and there is a potential for Fake Out all of a sudden. So what is our best option here? Let's try to Body Slam the Kangaskhan, and we're also going to Fly using Chirp. We're also going to target the Kangaskhan as well. Alright, so we do outspeed both opponents, and we didn't see Fake Out. That's good. Return is going to do some good damage to Snoozer, and it's enough to take him down. And Dragon Claw from the Garchomp, of course, no targets to attack. So the final Pokemon on my side will be... Oh, actually, wait, I still have Irwin. What am I thinking? I don't think I'm going to use Irwin just yet, though. I'm going to save him. I'm going to bring in Seaward, because we do have that Ice attack. We can try to do some good damage to Garchomp before Irwin needs to take the field. So let's go Ice Beam against the Garchomp, and of course, Chirp will be using Fly against Kangaskhan. And down he goes. It's okay damage, actually. Seaward outspeeds the Garchomp. I didn't expect that. Awesome. Okay. I love Scary Face. That was amazing. And we have a return attack. Eviolite, hang in there. Yes. So about half damage. But that means both of my guys outspeed this Kangaskhan. It must not be invested at all in speed. So although we can just double team with return and we're using Scald, I'm going to go for Fly just to get added leftovers recovery. So up he goes again. Now we might get a burn on this. Thankfully the Sunny Day did wear out, so it's not going to be weakened. We do get the burn. This is a very lucky battle. And of course, we're going to take less damage because burn will weaken the physical attack of the opponent. And that's pretty much going to cinch the game, because we're going to attack first. And it does cinch the game because the opponent decides there's no reason to finish this fight. They disconnect on us. Alright, fair enough. It was quite obvious who was going to win that one anyway, with 3 Pokemon on my side. Not that I'm trying to gloat or anything, it's just that's just how things go sometimes. Alright, good match, and that's the end of that. And in an impressive showing from my side, despite the fact that it ended in a disconnection, we do manage to pull out a win. I'm counting that as a win. It was quite clear what was going to happen. So I'm not going to, I'm not going to lie. Luck played a huge part in this battle for my team today. It was thanks to the paralysis that we got off Body Slam against that Mega Gyarados that kept it from fighting. Sunny Day might have made a difference if it was going for some water moves, but overall I do think paralysis was the definitely the main benefit, and getting that burn on that Kangaskhan at the very end was a crucial part of the match too. So, despite the fact that it was mostly due to luck, we still managed to get a victory this week, and I'm proud of my guys. So far, only one of my water starters has not managed to get a victory, which is unfortunate, but at least we're so far ahead of the game. Next week's battle is going to feature, now that we've gotten past the first 5 generations, my 6th generation starter, which is Springer the Greninja. I almost forgot the name for a sec. Springer the Greninja is going to be leading a battle next week on the channel. If you see any Pokemon in this nice fancy group shot that you'd like to see join Springer for next week's battle, leave a comment down below, and I will see to include them in the team if they work out well with the various typings that I go for. And also, let me know what you think of this battle. If you have any suggestions on what I could do to make some of my guys a little better, maybe, or more pro plays that I could be doing, leave that as a comment as well. And that being said, I want to thank you for checking out this video, and I'll catch you next time.